morning, everyone. It's Ace Karmacat here, today with my final Team Fortress 2 action figure review. And of course, last one would be the Series 1 action figure of the Pyro. Now, before I take a look at anything, I would like to specify that I do not have all of his weapons. Technically, the only two accessories out of all these characters that I'm missing are specifically Blue Pyro's flamethrower and the fire axe, which are both Pyro's weapons, of course. Other than that, I have a few prop weapons, and actually something that I wanted to clarify here. I have the whisk, as well as this little jar, and what I assume is a little mushroom, or not a mushroom, but a marshmallow on a stick. These, I said in the Team Fortress 2 action figure collection video, I didn't know where I got them from. But my older sister, who I will be referring to as Violet for privacy reasons, said that she got them for me. And I remember now she did get all these for me, like, kind of all at once, as well as a few other things that I didn't grab, and honestly, I have no clue where they would be right now. But without further ado, I'm going to take a look at least the flamethrower, and then the action figures themselves. Okay, so Pyro's flamethrower is actually pretty big. I'd say it's the second biggest weapon out of all of these, and the third biggest is probably Soldier's rocket launcher, which I have right here. Here it is just for, like, reference scale. And then I actually have Heavy off to the side here. Here's his minigun, but he's holding it. But again, here it is for reference. Yeah, I hope this is the thumbnail. I still haven't figured out how to make actual thumbnails for the videos yet. But anyway, flamethrower is designed very nicely. It's got this little piece down here with the handle and the trigger. Now, if this were for the Blue Pyro, this would obviously be blue instead of red. But the fire axe blade, interestingly enough, no matter what version of the action figure you get, or what colored team you're playing in the game, it will still have a red blade. But the flamethrower looks nice, is basically what I'm saying. It has this big tank-looking thing and a hose. I'm glad that they didn't do the same thing with the medic, seeing as Pyro does have a tank on his back, as you can see right there, but we'll look at that in a second. But yeah, it's detailed very nicely. I don't really like this piece, because even though this is what an actual flamethrower would have, this feels like it might break, but it does feel kind of strong. But it still feels like it might break, and I don't want to have to try and glue it back on. Now, as far as the articulation for the Pyro goes, it's not really that good. Well, normally this is something that I would edit out, but seeing as we're talking about the Pyro and what he actually sees versus what's actually going on, I'll leave that in. Ladies and gentlemen, Oliver Kermit Cat. Alright. So, and I'll also be bringing in some other action figures for reference. So first off, the articulation on his legs, I'm not even going to attempt to try and show you the articulation on his thighs because it's too stiff, and you honestly can't do doodly squat with that. And not to mention his gloves kind of hinder some elbow movement. Like, look, that is literally all the elbow movement you are going to get. His head is a little bit too small, and it's a little too pointed up here, and honestly, the joint, it clearly does look like an action figure. And as I said, here's the little tank on the back, but, you know, I mean, with most of the figures, like, if I take the Engineer here, you can see that, hey, there's no joint. I mean, we know it's an action figure, but, you know, just try to hide that stuff. Like, that's literally the only joint there. Well, I guess also in the torso, too. And again, much like with the medic, not really that much you can do because of all of his straps and his what are these things called? His little flame grenades, I suppose. Which, this isn't really coming across on camera, but these are a little bit more... oh wait, actually no, these are about the same shade. Well, maybe it's just the lighting down here, I don't know. But these appear to be painted a little bit more than these. Like, these look to be smaller, like there's more gray spaces on either end of these, and there's less gray spaces on either end of these. His hand, now this is actually something that that I noticed with a few reviews of the Pyro action figure. Well, not really reviews, but I've seen a few pictures of the Pyro action figure, and this is something kind of interesting that I probably should have looked up before this video. But specifically on his right hand, our left, on both the red and blue Pyro, he has this little marking here, and it almost looks like this was like taken off of another action figure and just put on here. But it's just kind of weird that that he has that. I'm just gonna lay him down because it's not worth it. But it's just kind of weird that he has that, because I've seen that on a few other Pyros, and both the red and blue versions of Pyro have that, which is kind of strange. But of course, the class logo looks good. The shoulder rotation is probably, like the ball joint in the shoulder, that's probably the best articulation on this, other than the head. But then again, the head kind of doesn't really look like a, well, the neck joint, at least, doesn't really, look very, realistic, is the problem. But then again, I guess you wouldn't be able to throw it upside down. And now, I fear no man, but that thing, it scares me. I can imagine, Heavy. Alright. Something else that I noticed, and I don't know if this is just with my blue and red variants specifically, but the tank on the back, not only are the little tips here different colors, like this one's black and this one's yellow, but this one has a little hole through it, whereas this one's just completely solid, like nothing's going to go through that. Also, a little bit of paint difference I just noticed. This is completely yellow, and then here there's a little bit of gray. It's kind of, it's really interesting seeing like how many differences there are between the Pyros. So now, once again, Pyro and Demo Man are the only figures that I did not get any, you know, like background information or class portrait cards or anything. So I'll put a reference picture of what Pyro's class portrait card would look like on the screen right now. However, I do know specifically that the red Pyro comes with, or the code gives you, the genuine Fire Brigade helm, I think is what it's called, and then the blue Pyro's code gives you the Spectrus rubber glove, I think is what it's called. I may have mispronounced that, but it's a rubber glove that he wears over his head, which looks kind of funny. Kind of makes him look like Feathers McGraw from Wallace and Gromit. But anyway, so Pyro and Demo Man were like the very first ones released, and this is something kind of interesting, specifically with my red Pyro and my red Demo Man. They both kind of have this same weird smell, and I bought both of them used, so, and I don't think I bought them from the same seller, is the thing. So it might just be because they're the Series 1 figures, and they just have that smell, but if anyone else has the Series 1, or the red Pyro and red Demo Man action figures, and they both kind of have this odd smell, then please let me know. That'd be kind of interesting. Anyway, normally here I would like talk about like what his true identity is or whatever, but honestly, we don't even know if we don't even know Pyro's gender at this point. I don't think it was ever revealed. But I do have my own little theory. People have been coming up with like their own little joke theories. And my little joke theory, which is kind of a serious theory, is that Pyro might be an unholy demon accidentally created by Marasmus, and Marasmus can't really do anything to undo his spell or anything, so he just hasn't told anyone. and that's why Pyro exists, so who knows what's really under that mask. Sorry about the noises upstairs, but anyway, this has been Ace Kermacat. Goodbye, thank you for watching. Okay, so that was not the actual end of the video, because now I have posed all of these guys into the pose that they have on the back of these things that they have at the end of the Meet the Team videos. And let me get something to elevate the camera with so I can hold it steady. And ta-da! There they are. All of the existing variants plus a custom blue Scout. And I'll go ahead and put a picture on screen. I just took a picture of all the red ones when I got them all in the pose first, and I just like kind of scattered the blue ones all around, just for good measure. And I think for my next review, I think I'll have to review NECA's Bob Ross action figure, because I have that. Don't mind Pepper. She's just here to see what's going on. But yes, now this should be the actual end of the video. So thank you all for watching the my Team Fortress 2 action figure reviews on all of these guys. Is Pepper. Pepper really likes it. Here, Pepper. Well, you're a good girl. Alright, well, anyway, Ace Kermacat signing off one last time for the Team Fortress 2 action figure reviews. Goodbye, thank you for watching. Also, Spy's arm broke again. I'm not gluing it back on, I'm just gonna leave it taped like this.